Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. Often, when addressing the adversaries of the people of Israel, the first association that many make is with the ancient Canaanites and their tribes. However, in antiquity, besides the Canaanites, the Israelites also had to deal with other notable challenges. One of these notable challenges were the Philistine nations, the Philistine people. I invite all of you to explore the intriguing origins of this people, mentioned in the Bible and remaining one of the most fascinating enigmas of ancient history, the ancient Philistines. Please, if you like our studies and videos, don't forget to leave your likes and share with other people who are also interested in knowing more about the scriptures. That said, let's watch another video from the channel. The truth behind the relationship between Philistines and Palestinians. The Philistines, known as Plishtim in Hebrew and Phoenician, and as Philistoi in Greek, were an ancient people who inhabited the southern coast of Canaan during the Iron Age. Their origin dates back to a group of immigrants or invaders from the Aegean Sea who settled in Canaan around 1200 BC, during the collapse of the Late Bronze Age. There is evidence of their presence in the region long before this period, as there are reports of Philistines living in the land of Canaan in the time of Abraham, which dates back to about 4,000 years ago, or roughly 2,000 years before Christ. Over time, the Philistines gradually absorbed various elements from the Canaanite societies that already inhabited the Canaan region, including the local language. There was also some ethnic intermixing with the Canaanite inhabitants. However, they managed to preserve their unique and distinct culture, setting themselves apart from the ethnic Canaanites. Now, when discussing the origins of the ancient Philistines, according to information from the Bible and historical records, in the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verses 13 and 14, the genealogy of the descendants of Mizraim, who was the son of Ham, is presented in the Table of Nations. In this context, Mizraim was the ancestor of the Ludites, Anamites, Leabites, Naphtuhites, Pathrusites, Casluhites, and Caphtorites, from whom the Philistines emerged. However, there is an ongoing debate about the origin of the Philistines. Some consider them to be descendants of people from the Aegean Sea region, namely of Greek origin, among others. Other interpreters of the scriptures claim that the Philistines have Egyptian roots, as Mizraim was one of the sons of Ham. Ultimately, the truth about the origins of the ancient Philistines remains a topic of discussion, with some theories pointing to a Greek origin, others to an Egyptian origin, with Mizraim, the son of Ham, as the ancestor. Another possibility is that the Philistines were descended from people of the Aegean Sea, that is, Greeks with roots in Japheth. The truth about their origins is shrouded in debates, often overlooking the crucial factor of migration. The ancient Philistines were skilled seafarers, much like the Phoenicians. Both the Phoenicians, who were Canaanite descendants of Canaan, and the Philistines, who originated from Mizraim through the Caphtorites, maintained deep ethnic interaction with the people of the Aegean Sea. Due to this intense ethnic influence, the region of Caphtorim was identified as the island of Crete. This connection dates back to antiquity and established strong ties with various pre-Italic peoples, Greeks, and other groups in southern Europe. The interaction with the Phoenicians and Philistines was so significant that the Philistines eventually came to be recognized as part of the Sea peoples. In other words, it is correct to state that, both according to biblical scriptures and historical records, the ancient Philistines were descendants of Caphtorim through their connection to Mizraim, classifying them as Hamites through this paternal lineage. They underwent significant ethnic blending with the descendants of Crete, namely the descendants of Javan. The Philistines, therefore, were a mixture of Javanite and Mizraimite descent, being Hamites from this perspective. Despite maintaining their own identity in the Middle East region, specifically in the land of Canaan, the Philistines also culturally exchanged with the Canaanites and, very possibly, with some Syrians. As a result, they became a quite mixed group, given the historical influence of the Aegean Sea peoples and their biblical ancestry as descendants of Caphtorim, a branch of Mizraim, which is associated with the descent of Ham, the same ancestor of the Egyptian people. Many people who are following recent events in Israel and Palestine have heard interpretations circulating on the internet, especially on YouTube, claiming that the Palestinians are the descendants of the ancient Philistines. However, it is important to question the accuracy of this assertion. In 604 BC, the Philistine government, which had already been subjugated for centuries by the Assyrian Empire, was finally destroyed by King Nebuchadnezzar II of the Neo-Babylonian Empire after becoming part of that empire and later the Persian Empire. As a result, the Philistines lost their distinct ethnic identity and disappeared from historical and archaeological records. By the end of the 5th century BC, they ceased to exist as a distinct ethnic group. Therefore, claims that contemporary Palestinians are direct descendants of the ancient Philistines ignore the historical factor pointing to the assimilation and disappearance of the Philistines, who intermixed with various other nations in the region. Palestinians share the region with a variety of other ethnic groups, including Ishmaelites, Nabateans, Edomites, Arameans, as well as Babylonians and Persians. It would be more appropriate to assert that Palestinians have some related ancestry but cannot be considered the Philistines in their entirety, as the Philistines disappeared as a people with a distinct ethnic identity. It's worth noting that the term Palestine assigned to the region was given by the Greeks and is not its original name. The ancient Philistines became known due to their biblical conflict with the peoples of the Canaan region, particularly with the Israelite people, who had Semitic origins. Although the main source of information about the Philistines is the Bible, they are also mentioned in the reliefs of the Temple of Ramses III in Medinet Habu, one of the best preserved archaeological sites of ancient Egypt, known for its rich architectural details and inscriptions. It served various purposes, including religious ceremonies, funeral rituals, and as an administrative center. One of the notable features of the Temple of Ramses III is the reliefs carved on the walls, depicting scenes of everyday life, religious ceremonies, and important historical events, such as the pharaoh's victories over foreign invaders. These reliefs provide valuable information about the history, culture, and religion of ancient Egypt. The Temple of Ramses III is a significant study site for archaeologists and Egyptologists and is a significant tourist attraction in Egypt, where visitors can explore the country's rich historical and artistic heritage. The main Philistine cities were Gaza, Ashkelon, Ekron, and Gath. Gaza is a coastal city that played an important role in the ancient world and is one of the most well-known cities in the Philistine region. It still exists today and is part of the Gaza Strip, which is part of the Palestinian territories. Ashkelon, or Ashkelon, was another important coastal city in the Philistine region. It also exists today and is located in Israel, near the Mediterranean coast. Ekron, or Ekron, was a Philistine city located north of Gaza, and its ruins are near the modern Israeli city of Tel Mikn. Gath, or Gath, was a Philistine city located southeast of Ashkelon. Its ruins are near the modern city of Gath in Israel. As for the etymology of the term Philistines, it has roots in Classical Latin, Philistin, from late Greek, Philistini, originally derived from ancient Phoenician and Hebrew, Plishti, which is the plural of Palestin, or Plestin. The word Philistin basically means people of Peleshet. Unfortunately, the term by which the Philistines referred to themselves remains unknown, while the Hebrew term Plishti occurs 286 times in the Masoretic text of the Hebrew Bible, with 152 occurrences in 1 Samuel. It can also be found in the Samaritan Pentateuch and the Greek version of the Bible known as the Septuagint, where the equivalent of the term Philistin in Greek occurs 12 times, again in the Pentateuch. One of the most notable wars between the Israelites and the Philistines involved the story of Samson, where he faced and defeated 1,000 Philistines, using the jawbone of an ass to defeat them. Additionally, Samson had conflicts with Delilah. The Philistines also had contact with the patriarch of the people of Israel, Abraham, or at least with the first patriarch, Abimelech, who was the king of the Philistines at the time of Abraham. It is possible that it was Abimelech himself who met with Abraham's son, Isaac, or an Abimelech II, as it was common in antiquity for kings to pass their names on to their sons. A curiosity about the Philistines is the lack of sufficient information about their native language to definitively link it to any other language. There are some possible connections to Indo-European languages, including Mycenaean Greek, due to their contact with the region of Crete in the Aegean Sea. For this reason, it is speculated that the Philistines spoke a language similar to Greek. Some experts, such as Edward Sapir, argue that the term kopa, meaning helmet, and used to describe Goliath's copper helmet in 1 Samuel 17 verse 5, is related to this linguistic influence. Some Philistine names, like Goliath, do not appear to be of Semitic origin, and many Indo-European etymologies have been suggested. When they entered the land of Canaan and interacted with the Canaanites, the Philistines adopted the Canaanite language, specifically a Canaanite dialect, Phoenician. They not only spoke the dialect but also used it in writing. I thank everyone who has watched until this point. Please share in the comments what you knew about the origins of the Philistines, who were descendants of Mizraim and Javan according to the sacred scriptures, and how the Palestinians may have some Philistine ancestry, although they are not the Philistines themselves, who disappeared over time. God bless. See you soon.